Hello and welcome, and thank you for choosing Mailprotector. My name is Dan Kolansky. I work with Virtual Administrator. Today we're going to go through some of the basics of working with Mailprotector, getting started, logging into your account, and doing some basic setup before you start setting up your customers. So let's go ahead and flip over to Mailprotector. First thing you need to do is sign in, and you're going to find your sign-in link by visiting emailservice.io, and it will navigate you here. So you just go ahead and log in. It's going to ask you for a username and then a password. It already asked me for my username because I've logged in previously. It will then ask for your password. Or you can choose to email yourself a sign-in link. Once you type in your username, it will send an email to your email account that you used when signing up for Mailprotector. And then you can click the link in that account in order to log in. So no password would necessarily be required. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in my password. And once logged in, you'll be presented with a dashboard. Yours might not look quite as interesting as this because this is an active Mailprotector account. If you're just logging in, most of these lines will probably be flat across the bottom of the screen because you will have had no email traveling through. The first thing that you probably will want to do is to go up into the top corner up here, edit your profile, and update your password to a unique password. We've generated a password for you, but since that password was sent by plain text and email, we highly recommend that you change that for security purposes. You also have the ability here to set up two-factor authentication if you prefer. Another thing that we highly recommend. So I'm going to flip back to the overview up here. You'll notice that your navigation is up in the top corner here, and what you'll see is a menu. When you first log in, you'll see that it says reseller and the name of the reseller account. And then if you hover over that, it drops down with this sub-menu here. So this is the sub-menu here. And Mailprotector is tiered in the sense that you first work on the reseller level, then you work on the customer level. So if I click through to customer, you'll see that we've got some customers set up. You might not have any yet, but we're going to set some up shortly. When you click into a customer, you'll see that you now have a breadcrumb trail that shows you how to go forward. And then you'll have a sub-menu for that, and you can kind of navigate back and forth. So all settings here apply at the reseller level. All settings here apply at the customer level. And then under each customer, you'll also find that you have domains. And under the domains, you'll have users. And you can actually modify individual users. So if I modify a user account here, you'll see that the breadcrumb trail goes all the way. And you can make modifications and navigate up and down through the navigation menu up here. So we're going to go back to our reseller level because we aren't ready to set up any customers just yet. And we're going to do a couple settings here. First thing that you'll want to do is you'll want to go to filtering. And under the filtering, we're going to set up some basic rules. Now, you can set up allow and block rules. You can create custom message rules. And these rules here at the reseller level would apply to all customers that you set up in the future. So we recommend that you get a little Spartan with these rules so that you don't have any surprise interactions working with your customers. But if you have a rule that you'd like to apply across all of your customers, or an allow or a block, then you can set that up here. This next section here, message review notifications, it's by default, it will send 3 notifications between the hour of 8 and 5 p.m. We've noticed that 3 notifications can be a little bit much, so we recommend turning that down to 2. So what would happen is you'd receive a notification at the beginning of the day and a notification at the end of the day. You can also choose to apply to all, which would apply all the way down through all customers below Virtual Administrator. We're going to go ahead and leave it as it is right now. So this would update changes to customers that were already created as opposed to new customers going forward. Below that, you'll see information about spam tolerance, message review visibility, and scoring sensitivity for things like promotions, SPF soft fails, hard fails, and spoofed addresses. By default, these are generally pretty good to go. You can also choose some modes to change how things work, for maximum security, or just kind of let stuff go through, or however you want to do that. But by default, it generally is pretty well set up. The next thing you'll want to do is go to permissions. Most of this stuff under permissions is pretty straightforward. You can choose things like console access, how many times people can click notification links in their quarantine emails, message rules, spam tolerance. But an important setting that we recommend that you uncheck in here, under message interaction, recently held messages, you'll see that there's some options here: spam, viruses, policy violations. We recommend that viruses remain unchecked, which means that users will not be allowed to deliver viruses that were held for review. Only you as the reseller or the customer administrator could release a virus email. Typically, if something's tagged as a virus, Mailprotector has detected a payload of some kind. There's a pretty good chance that it will not be a friendly email. So we typically hide we uncheck these so that users cannot send these to their email box. Finally, the last thing that's worth setting up on the reseller level, under console, you'll find that there's some personalization available. You can set a custom URL prefix for your reseller account. This means that users would be able to log in by typing in the name. So you could type in your company, like we would set up virtualadministrator.emailservice.io. And that would update the console link so that users could log in directly via that. If the URL is not available, it's possible that it may be taken by another reseller. Unfortunately, we are sharing this emailservice.io domain. So if that is the case, then you might have to use a slightly different URL prefix. You are able to set up custom branding. Custom branding can be done in Mailprotector. You can change out there's two logos. There's a logo and an icon, and you have the ability to change them out. They have some tips for getting great looking custom branding. If you click that, it'll give you the chance to read through those. But typically you just want to use a good image type and have the correct aspect ratios and pixel density in order to get good quality emails. You also can change the email address that notification emails are sent from. So quarantine notifications and other emails like that would arrive from whatever you type in here. So we could type in our company name and then type in maybe the email address of our help desk. You can also type in the name of your support desk. If your customer clicks for help inside of the console, then this would send them to whatever your help desk URL is. So if you have a link on your website, or perhaps you're using a PSA tool that has a web address that they could enter tickets in, then you could also send them there as well. And that basically concludes the initial setup. We're very excited to have you with us. We're in the next few videos, we're going to go over setting up your first customer and creating domains, and we'll go from there.